Good afternoon, everyone. It is not often that we have guests in the chambers or in the building, so it's really nice to see all of you socially distanced, wearing your masks, all the necessary things that we need in order to be able to come together for special occasions like this. It is really an honor and a privilege for me to be here today. I have the privilege of knowing Carrie Mae Weems a little bit from our shared time serving on the Gifford Foundation board together, and during that time I just got a small glimpse of the brilliance that is Carrie Mae Weems and the local treasure that we have here in her. And as we were just discussing, at this critical time, not just in our city or our community, in this critical time in humanity, to have someone of Carrie's stature and talent engage on this issue in such a powerful way, I couldn't ask for anything more. And I think the timing couldn't be any better, because as we've been discussing, overall New York State throughout this pandemic, while we certainly saw the worst of it, has been able to, we've been able to hold our own, and we've been able to work our way through this extremely difficult crisis. And at a time when when we're looking at our numbers and they're holding steady, we're looking around us and seeing other parts of the country that are going completely in the wrong direction. And what we've been saying and will continue to say, and I think this campaign will help us to say, now is not the time to let our guard down. We have to double down on the practices that have helped us get to this point in recovery. Maintaining social distancing, wearing our masks, washing our hands, all these things that we know are so critical to protecting ourselves and each other. And that's a big part of this, is taking care of each other. One of the things that we've noticed in this pandemic is that it has shined a very bright light on the systemic issues that have impacted a number of marginalized communities, particularly communities of color, for the history of this country. Systemic racism, inequality, in those systemic problems have shown themselves in various different ways, and have shown themselves in a very specific way during this pandemic. And that is that we know that our communities of color are disproportionately impacted by health crises like this. And it's reflected in the numbers. We pride ourselves on being data-driven in our response. If we're looking at the data, we know that we have a significant problem in helping to protect our communities of color. And again, I think that this crisis gives us an opportunity not only to try to address the short-term crisis and to make sure that we're taking care of each other and helping each other, especially those most marginalized, but it also gives us an opportunity to address those systems that existed long before this pandemic, and unless we do something about it in this moment, will impact us long after this pandemic. And I think, again, in a way that very few people in this world could do, Carrie has created an opportunity for us to both address the short-term crisis that we're facing, as well as to address the long-term systemic issues that have impacted us for far too long. So thank you, Carrie, for that. Before I turn it over to Carrie, one of the privileges I have in this job is that I get to prepare proclamations. And I couldn't think of a better excuse to prepare a proclamation than having Carrie here with us working on such an important issue. So Carrie, if you'll indulge me for a moment, I'm going to read this proclamation, and then I'd like to hand it over to you, and you can share some words with everyone. The proclamation reads as follows. Whereas Carrie Mae Weems, born in Portland, Oregon in 1953, received an introduction to the arts through the expression of dance and street theater at a young age. By the age of 17, she had moved to San Francisco after being invited to join the acclaimed San Francisco Dancers Workshop, a group consisting of artists seeking to perfect their craft. Having developed her physical voice using movement, the gift of her first camera in 1973 set her on a trajectory of growth in her visual artistry. And whereas Weems began to pursue an education in photography and design, traveled overseas, met established photographers, and continued to hone her skills. As a mother, provider, scholar, organizer, and award winner with over 30 years of a body of work that spans various mediums, including video, digital imagery, text, fabric, and installation, Weems uses her creativity to tell stories through social constructs. And whereas she has been recognized with numerous prestigious accolades, including being a recipient of the MacArthur Foundation Fellowship in 2013, also known as a Genius Grant. A resident of Syracuse for more than 20 years, Weems has had exhibits featured around the world and locally at the Everson Museum. Weems has taught at and received one of her honorary doctorates from Syracuse University and has recently been named the university's very first artist in residence. And whereas in the wake of the global COVID-19 pandemic, Weems created the Resist COVID Take 6 campaign through Social Studies 101, a project to increase public awareness about the impact of the virus has had on communities of color, helping to shed light on the need of social equity, safety, and preventative measures for those disproportionately affected. The campaign focuses on promoting the need to continue the dialogue around the importance of social distancing by keeping 6 feet apart, wearing masks, and dispel misinformation while supporting and encouraging frontline and essential workers. And whereas Weems' efforts to serve Syracuse residents can be seen on public service billboards, signs, bags, and everyday use items, giveaways spreading the message in the Black, Brown, and Native communities suffering the most. Her work is a testament to how one uses their gifts to help uplift and preserve. Now, therefore, I, Ben Walsh, Mayor of the City of Syracuse, hereby proclaim the 9th day of July 2020 to be Carrie Mae Weems Resist COVID Take 6 Day in the City of Syracuse. Thank you, Carrie. I'm going to hand this to you and invite you up to share some words.
Oh my God, this is like so amazing.
It's official.
Thank you so much. I don't know what my husband's going to say about this, Jeff, right? Maybe we'll have dinner tonight. This is really very, very special, and I'm really deeply, deeply honored and moved. And I think, for the most part, I just simply spend all of my time working, so I never really think about what anything means because I'm thinking about what the work means and not about maybe what I might mean. And so to have this recognition from the city that I call home, where I live with my wonderful husband, Jeff Hoon, and I work every day with my incredible assistants, Amy Pennington and Megan King, who've helped me with this project. I'm just really grateful, and I'm really thankful. I'm thankful to Candace Jackson at Syracuse University, who saw the importance of this project and who immediately stepped in to offer her assistance. I'm thankful to Saisha, who has helped me with the distribution of this project. I'm thankful to Mark Jackson for his wonderful saying, mask up and back up, and being able to include that actually in one of our projects. And of course, I'm really grateful to my husband, who puts up with me daily. It's not always easy. And of course, it's really wonderful to be here along with Sharon, our deputy mayor, Sharon Owens, who has been so important to this community as well. Sharon and I have known each other for a number of years. All I can say is this, and that this project simply started as an artist-driven campaign to really focus attention on what is happening through communities of color around the country. The mayor used the term inequality. And last week, my assistants and I, Amy and Megan, we were sitting looking at some of our material for this public art campaign, and I kept looking at the word and thinking about the word inequity and the meaning of inequity and the difference between the meaning of inequity and inequality. And so, knowing that I had very few, that I had a very particular choice to make. And somehow it dawned on me that there's something deep and wide and systemic about the idea of inequity. Its vastness across a multiple series of landscapes, disciplines, cultures, practices, and lives, that it's really inequity in the ways in which people of color have been treated through the lack of overall justice within the system that has given rise to, as Professor Sharon has really laid out, that has led to this incredible health care crisis across the country. And this health care crisis is also linked to the escalating violence. It is also ricocheting, unfortunately, at this time of this extraordinary epidemic through our community as well. They are all linked. And in that linkage and in that connection, I think, is where we really find the depths of inequity, and therefore where we have to work, where we have to focus our attention. So I am grateful. What started as a small artist-driven campaign has now taken on really kind of wonderful national reverberation. So now we have collaborations with Brotherhood and Sister Soul in Harlem. We've developed a wheat pace campaign that's also functioning in Harlem. We're doing PSAs and billboards around the country. We're working with important museums in Dallas, the Dallas Contemporary, the Dallas Museum of Art, the Fort Worth Museum of Modern Art, the Armin Carter Museum. We're working with Chicago and the Department of Cultural Affairs. We're working with the University of Arts and in Philadelphia. We're doing a major campaign with Savannah and Atlanta in association with SCAD. We're working also with Contemporary in Sarasota, Florida, and we're doing newspaper ads that just sprung up this week in Aspen. We've also just received funding for this important project from the Ford Foundation, from the Rolex Foundation, and another small grant from the National Academy of Arts. So with that, I'm grateful that people are paying attention to the project. I'm happy simply to be able to lend my name to bring forth the importance and the immediacy and the urgency of the project. And more than anything, as I stand here today, the thing that I need from all of you the most is help with getting this information, this important information, into the hands of the people that need it. That it doesn't really matter, it doesn't mean anything if it simply sits in my on a billboard at the edge of town or on a couple of billboards throughout the city. We've developed shopping bags and fans and church fans and door hangers and buttons and bows, and all those things need to get to the people who need them. And so I would be grateful for any collaboration, for anyone who's willing to help and to make any sort of suggestions as to how we might pass out some of these important materials. But we will certainly be there tomorrow at Tucker, Sharon, when we present this information to the community there tomorrow. So thank you very much. Thanks so much for inviting me and for making this Carrie Mae Weems Day. I think I should go to the beach and celebrate. Thanks.
Thank you, Carrie. We have one more speaker. Before I introduce her, I want to acknowledge some other guests in the room. We have our Deputy City Clerk, Patricia McBride, here. Thanks for coming up. And we have our Deputy Commissioner of Parks, Jimmy Oliver, here. So thanks to you both and for everyone else for coming today. We were supposed to have our Common Council President, Helen Hudson, here. She, unfortunately, something came up. She wasn't able to make it. But she certainly sends her best regards, Carrie, to you and to all of you. So with that, we have our amazing Deputy Mayor, Sharon Owens, who obviously is a friend and colleague of Carrie's and mine. And without further ado, Sharon, why don't you close us out?
Thank you, Mayor. It's so good to see you again. And I have the esteemed honor of just thanking you so much for this campaign. It is so, I can't speak about how important it is, but I also want to, while there are so many different partners, I want to especially acknowledge the contribution of time, talent, and treasure of Syracuse University. I am a proud Cuse Nation alum. Woo-hoo. And so I'm so thankful for seeing the absolute value of this campaign and putting all of your resources and your time and effort and your amazing staff and your commitment to this community behind it. COVID is not a hoax. Don't let people fool you. It is very real, and it is very much affecting communities that I call my community, that I've grown up in, Black, brown, Native people, very much affecting us. Wash your hands, socially distance yourself, wear a mask, and get tested. Just a reminder to the community, through the efforts, and I have always been a proud New Yorker. I can't tell you how proud I am to be a New Yorker when I look at maps these days. And through the efforts of New York State, Onondaga County, the leadership of Ryan McMahon, the mayor, in this town, you can go to the Syracuse Community Health Center Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5. You can drive up and you can now walk up to be tested. And we also have pop-up testing around the city. So I'm so happy the stars aligned today, because tomorrow we'll be at Tucker Missionary Baptist Church, 515 Oakwood Ave, in a collaboration between the county, Tucker Missionary Baptist Church, and 100 Black Men. And these materials will be available as well there. Please, Syracuse community, wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance, and get tested. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate your time. Stay cool today. Have a good day.